the world has changed. You know, people say that all the time, but this is truly different. I don't think since Gutenberg and the printing press have we seen technology change the way we all live as dramatically as communications technology has changed the world over the past decade or so. You know the world is flat, Tom Friedman's new book, or not new anymore, or 3 Billion New Capitalists, and Tim Ferriss, who you can hear in a couple of minutes, talking about the incredible uses that you can put this technology to, and Tim is just a total genius. He's one of the most amazing minds I've ever met. But it is absolutely a different world that we're living in now, and we're in the midst of it. So people don't necessarily take stock of it. You're not aware of what's going on. It's like the analogy I use, sort of a grim analogy, but if you take a frog and drop it in boiling water, it'll try and jump out. But if you take a frog and put it in cold water and slowly heat it up, you'll end up with a boiled frog. You know, a grim image. But someone turned up the heat about a decade ago. And we've got to learn what to do about that. We've got to learn how to take advantage of it, or it will cook us. And I don't want you all to get cooked. So I want to give you some pointers. And first I want to tell you two stories, both true stories. The first is about a man by the name of Larry Walters. Have you ever heard of Larry Walters? Larry Walters is this guy about 20 years ago in California who wanted to discover what it felt like to fly. And so he went down to his local Army-Navy store, and he bought a few weather balloons. And he got a tank of helium, and he came home, and he inflated the weather balloons, and he attached them to his lawn chair, which he tethered to the bumper of his Jeep. He then went inside and made a picnic, some sandwiches, got a 6-pack of beer, and got his BB gun. And his plan was to come out, sit in the lawn chair, cut the tether cord, float up above the LA neighborhood, about 100 feet or so, have his picnic, shoot the balloons with the BB gun, and come back down to Earth. Well, it didn't exactly go according to plan. He cut the tether cord, and he didn't drift up. He skyrocketed into the LA sky like shot from a cannon. And he didn't level off at 100 feet. He didn't level off at 1,000 feet. He leveled off at 14,000 feet. Now, it is cold up there, you know, and he didn't want to start popping those balloons, you know, and I imagine he had that beer in a hurry, but he drifted for 12 hours until he drifted into the primary approach corridor for Los Angeles Airport. Well, a commercial airliner spotted him and radioed the control tower, "I just passed a man in a lawn chair with a gun." Now they somehow dispatched a helicopter or something out there and managed to get him back down to Earth, where he was promptly arrested for violating LAX airspace, you know. And I love, a reporter got on the scene and asked him, and I love this comment. The reporter said, "Why did you do this?" And I love what he said. He said, "Well, a man can't just sit around." And somehow it just captures for me the experience of the entrepreneur. You know, you can't just sit around, right? So you start a business, right? And then one day, you never intended for it to work out this way. You're at 14,000 feet in a lawn chair, and you don't know what to do. And this is, it sort of symbolizes for me two of the three forces that I want to give you some advice on how to deal with. And those two are isolation. He was all alone up there. And so many people are alone. They're surrounded by people, but they're alone. And that's why coming here is such an incredible value. And fear. Totally afraid. Didn't know what the whatever to do. You know, alone and afraid. And that is the worst place you can put yourself if you want to produce the best kind of work. Isolated and afraid. By the way, you want a 3-step worry control kit? How many of you worry? Okay, yeah, if you don't worry, you're dead, right? I'll give you 3 steps to control worry. Throw out your Prozac. Okay. Number 1, by far, emblazon this in your brain. Never worry alone. It's great to worry, just never worry alone. Talk to someone. Turn your worry into constructive action. Okay, step 2, get the facts. Toxic worry, bad worry, as opposed to good worry. Good worry leads to action. Good worry is like Andrew Grove wrote a book called Only the Paranoid Survive. So that's good, but toxic worry immobilizes you. And toxic worry is usually based on lack of information or wrong information. So get the facts. Come here, get the facts. Step 3, make a plan. You got to have a plan. Toxic worry loves a passive victim. If you have a plan, you're golden. Never worry alone, get the facts, make a plan. All of you here have all the hope and drive and ambition in the world, but you also need a plan. The hope, drive, and ambition is like rocket fuel, but you need the rocket, and the plan is your rocket. Hope is not a strategy. You need a strategy. Hope alone won't do it. You need a rocket. And so that's where that plan comes in. And then you go back to step 1. Don't worry alone. Revise the plan. When it doesn't work and no plan works, you revise it. Never worry alone. Get the facts. Make a plan. You follow those 3 steps. I swear to you, you will be able to tackle absolutely any problem you encounter in your business. And that's what business is. It's problem solving. Okay, second story I want to tell you. I was away with my 3 kids, my wife. We've been going to this little lake in Connecticut called Doolittle every August. I close down my practice, and we take the entire month and go to this little lake called Doolittle. And we do little. We swim, and there's no TV, and the only shower is an outdoor shower, and we have friends over, and it's just wonderful. And one day I come up out of the lake a couple of years ago, and I say I want to invite some friends to go to a minor league ball game. And so I call up the friend. And now the only phone in this little cottage that we rent is one of those old-fashioned rotary models. And I start dialing the number. And I start getting really angry at the telephone because it takes so long, click, 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 click. And I'm thinking, why doesn't the landlady have touch tone? And this is really annoying, and I'm tugging on the rotary, to make it go faster, and I'm getting really angry. And I complete my call, and then I say, what's happened to you? You're at Lake Doolittle. You're getting angry at a telephone. And I time how long it takes to dial the number, 11 seconds. Those 11 seconds had put me into a snit. And it just dawned on me, my whole self has been reprogrammed. And I think that's true for all of us. We have been reprogrammed by modern life. Here I am at Lake Doolittle getting mad at a phone because it doesn't dial fast enough, and I'm not in any hurry to begin with. What's wrong with me? And I said, I've got to come to terms with this, because it ain't just me. It's a whole epidemic, and it's leading people into bad places. And that's how I got interested in this whole crazy busy phenomenon of how, if you're not careful, modern life will manage you instead of you managing modern life. And I realized that a lot of folks underperform, not because they're not smart enough or ambitious enough, but because they're not managing their brains wisely enough. And I wrote this paper for the Harvard Business Review called Overloaded Circuits: Why Smart People Underperform. And this is the part that Joe and I have teamed up to try to bring to you, how you can work smart, not just work hard. Because if you don't, you'll be driving on square wheels. A lot of you really working hard, man, but imagine square wheels. Oh, a lot of effort, Oh, I show up and I work harder than any of my competitors. I am working so hard, but you got square wheels. You don't get anywhere near where you could get if you were smart enough to go out and get some round wheels.